Hello, my name's Heather and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be going over how to crochet and we're going to learn how to make a slip knot, chain, and then begin our first row. So let's get started. So there's a few ways you could hold your hook. I like to hold my hook like a knife. This allows you to move your fingers and have more mobility with your hands. There's another way that you can hold it. It's like a writing utensil. This is more difficult for me because it doesn't allow me the freedom of motion with my hand. So before you get started, you have to make a slip knot. And how I like to explain how to make a slip knot is visually, if you make kind of like a ribbon, you see how you have this tail that goes towards your yarn ball, your skin. What you want to do is, this is going over top, so you're going to push this piece of yarn through the back of the circle, pinch it, grab the end tail and the tail that goes to your yarn, and pull it. This allows for the knot to be able to freely move so that when you place it on your hook, you can close it. You see here how there's some space. This space is a little bit larger right now just because I'm trying to demonstrate what it should look like. But you want to bring down this space a little bit more. And I like to tell my students, whatever kind of space that you put for your first slip knot, try to maintain that spacing. Because if you maintain that spacing, it's going to help you have the same stitches and it's going to make your project look really nice overall. The other thing you need to remember is you should have a yarn tail, not too big, not too small, because at the end of your work, when you're working in rows, you want to weave this tail into the wrong side of your work. So I'll be demonstrating this technique of making chains with both my left and my right hand, so that if you're either hand, you'll understand how to do either one. There's a few different ways you can hold your yarn. One way I teach my students is I like to measure my yarn from where my slip knot and my hook is. So for a looser tension kind of way, if you come over your pinky and under your ring finger and your middle finger and over your pointer, you're going to rotate your palm to the right. And you see right here you have this string. This is, your yarn. This is where you're going to be working into. You're going to take your middle finger and your thumb and you're going to pinch that slip knot. You see here, now you have your yarn. It's not too tight and it's not too loose. I also like to make sure that my yarn is in front of my knuckle because I find it's awkward to crochet when it's further back here. So this is currently my right hand. The other way I hold my yarn is I like to come, same thing, from the slip knot and the hook, wrap it around your pinky, up your palm, and you can either come over your pointer finger this way and connect with your middle finger and thumb, or you can go under and over and the same thing, pinch with your middle finger and thumb. The next step to begin doing your chains is learning what a yarn over is. So when you look at your yarn and your hook should always be moving in front of your yarn. Your yarn, when you're right-handed, is going to be to the back and left and up. Now you're going to take your hook with your hook facing upwards and you're going to do what's called a yarn over. You're going to grab your yarn, this is the yarn over, and slowly as you're pulling down your hook, you want to turn the tip down so that you can pull it straight through the loop you made with your slip knot. Turn your hook back up and pull up. So you see here, you have space again. You always want to pull up your loop. The other thing I tell my students is as you're working, make sure that you don't pull down on this chain. Because if you pull on this chain, you're likely going to end up pulling this finger back. And you see how that tightens? If you need it to get looser, you need to let your pointer finger come down and pull your hook up. And you see how it's like a seesaw here? This is how you can control how much yarn you need or need to get rid of, okay? And that's the other thing, is when you're doing this, you need to make sure that you're keeping your finger in the same place, because again, if you pull this finger back, you're going to tighten it. And if you do your yarn over and try to pull down, you see you're going to find resistance. And that's not what you want to do. Okay? So we have our first chain. Now, as you're making your chain, you always want to be pinching right below your hook. This allows you to control your yarn. This also makes sure that your yarn isn't going to spin around your hook. So you always want to keep pinching and moving your fingers up. So right now, I'm going to make a chain of 11, and this will become clearer why when I get to the end of that chain. So I already have 1. This is 2. Pull up. This is 3. Now scoot your fingers up. This is 4. This is 5. This is 6. This is 7. This is 8. This is 9. This is 10. Scoot your fingers up. This is 11. Now, this 11th chain is basically the turning chain. You always skip this going into the second row. The reason is because when you come into the third row, you chain 1 to come back across. So I like to start with even numbers with my students so that when they come across, they know they made 11 chains. They're going to be skipping 1, so every row after that, they should only have 10. And that gets you in a good habit of counting your stitches. So when you look at the braid, or the V's I like to call them, you can see them right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's 11. So this is how you count down your chain. That looks kind of like a braid or V's. Also, as you're making your chain, you want to make sure that the V's are all facing the same way. You don't want to see the back of your chain right here. You see how there's little lumps or bumps? You don't want to be seeing that, because if your chain is twisted and you come back across to do your second row, it's not going to work out right and it's going to look strange. Okay? So, as I mentioned, I have 11 chains and I'm going to show you how to count them. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright? So, don't forget when you start the second row, you're going to be skipping this first chain, which was the 11th chain we made. So when you go in to do this, you're going to turn your hook and come under the top loop of that chain you made. You see how when you come through, it kind of naturally wants to come out and under to the right? What you want to do here is lay your hook on top and pull that yarn right back through where you came and then turn it upwards. See, now you have 2 loops on your hook. Make sure you even out those loops and have them the same height, because you want to get in a good habit of doing this for later stitches you learn when you have multiple loops on your hook. Okay? Now here is where you're going to do the yarn over you learned earlier. Yarn over, turn your hook down, and come through both of those loops. Okay? So, now I like to scoot my finger, pinch right behind the next chain I want to go in. Don't go back in this hole here. This would make it an increase, and then instead of having 10 stitches at the end of the row, you would only have, you would have 11 stitches. You can also see right here that this yarn is wrapped around right here. So look for that visual here too to know that you don't need to go back in that same stitch. If you're having issues where you're not sure where you want to put your hook because you're new to crochet, you could do something like this and grab a stitch marker and maybe place it into the stitches after where you just went so that you don't continue going into the same stitches. All right, and I'm going to show you one more time here. You're going to go under just that top loop of the chain you made. We're going out under to the right when you're right-handed. Pull your yarn back through the same area you put it through, and then turn your hook upwards. Now you see you have 2 loops on your hook. Don't continue this way because that would be a slip stitch. Right now we're doing single crochets. So when you have 2 loops on your hook, we're going to yarn over and come through both. There's one last thing I want to show you. When you go into your chain, come in with your hook to the side. It makes things a lot easier so that when you push through, you can automatically lay your hook on top and come right back through where you put your hook. Now, when you turn your hook upwards and you pinch your little ball of yarn down here, this little area, if you're having problems being able to pull your yarn through both of these loops on your hook, you can do one at a time just till you feel more comfortable, see? Just like that, okay? So I'm going to continue down my chain here to show you how to begin row 3. Remember, you go into the chain, yarn over and pull through both. Scoot your finger back, find where you want to go next, put your hook in, lay it on top, pull back through, turn your hook upwards, yarn over, go through both. Put your hook in to the chain, bring it out, turn your work up, turn your loops up is what I meant, and go through both. Now, if you find that you have some gaps in your work, don't worry. They usually will work themselves out as long as they're not too large. Once your work becomes more stable or structurally sound, I guess we'll call it, just trust the process. The hardest thing about crochet is row 1 and 2. And so if you get frustrated, just take a breath and then come back and try again. Okay, we're going to finish the last few stitches here. We're going to go in 1, and then I'll show you the last one here. If you're better with something like steps, think of it like 1, you go into that chain. 2 would be laying your hook on top and coming back through. And then 3 would be doing your yarn over and pull through both. Okay? So now you should have 10 stitches in your row. Now, you remember when we skipped that first stitch, that 11th chain we made? That is because when you go to turn to do row 3, you're going to chain 1, flip your work to the left. Your tail should now be on the bottom right. This is the wrong side of your work. Now you see here, when you turn your work, see how this is kind of turned up here? You don't want to go back into that, okay? What you're looking for here is this gap. And if you aren't sure where you need to go, you can always turn your work to the side here and see, you can see your single crochets here that you did in the row prior. You see these V's? Look for that braid on top. Then you can just make sure you put your hook into that space and get both of those loops here. This is your front loop and this is your back loop. Don't just go in the front and don't just go in the back. That's a completely different stitch. When you're just doing a single crochet the regular way, you want to go under both loops and finish your stitch. So it's going to kind of look like you have 3 things on your hook. You got that back loop, front loop, and then the loop that was on your hook right here, okay? You pull your hook right back through, turn upwards, yarn over, and go through both. So I hope that you found that helpful. If you have any questions or you have any concerns or want to just tell me what you're working on, feel free to leave a comment and make sure you subscribe. Now, everything I said in the beginning of the video about how to hold your hook, how to make your slip knot, is going to be the same. The only thing different is how you're holding your hook and your yarn. I'm still holding my hook like a knife in my left hand. I've already made my slip knot. You're going to put your hook into the loop, tighten it up a little bit, and then put your yarn in your hand the way you like to hold it. And then instead, here you're going to be doing your pinching on that slip knot right there. Okay? So now when you do a yarn over on this side, you're coming on the inside of your hand, yarn over, come through both. Or, excuse me, come through your chain. Now, I'm not left-handed, so I look a little weird when I do this, so don't mind it, but this is how you do it. You turn down and pull through. Make sure you pull up that loop, scoot your fingers up. Let that yarn flow through your hand. Yarn over, pull the loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. And that's how you do chains with your left hand. Yarn over, pull through the loop on your hook. You still want to keep that chain open. Don't let it get too tight, because you won't be able to do your row when you get to 2. And there you go. Same thing. You want to make sure that your V, your braid, is all facing the same way. You don't want to see those little lumps in the back. Okay? Now, when you're going back across for your second row, don't forget you need to skip that first chain. Okay? Now, you're going to put your hook into the second chain. And now, if you're left-handed, you want to come out to the left, lay it on top, pull right back through where you came through. Turn upwards. We're going to grab that little ball of yarn there. Sorry, I told you I'm not left-handed. We're going to yarn over, pull through both. Oops. Alright, scoot your fingers down to the next one. This is your third chain. Lay it on top, come back through, turn upwards. You got your 2 loops, yarn over, come through both. Okay? So, not much different, it's just a different hand. Okay? And when you get to the end of your first row, you're going to do the same thing. You're going to chain 1 to turn. Except for when you turn, you're going to be turning your work right instead of left when you're right-handed. So bring this over, bring it through, turn it up. Come through both. It always feels really weird when I do this. Alright, come through, whoop, come through, turn it upwards, make sure you got space, yarn over, come through both. So my left-handed chain definitely doesn't look as good as, or excuse me, my left-handed chain and row 1 definitely doesn't look as good as my right hand because, yeah, I'm right-handed. All right, and then see, we're gonna put our hook in there, grab our yarn, pull back under and through, turn upwards, last yarn over, and then we tighten this up here. Yarn over, come through both. So we need to chain 1 to turn. And now when you turn this work, you turn it to your right, just like that. And your first stitch is going to go right into this gap right here. I keep losing my yarn here. Lay it on top, pull back through and under, turn upwards, turn over, go through both. So that's basically how you do your left hand. If you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment and look out for more videos in the future. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a great day.